In this video, me and my friend Yumeriri are going to be playing Terraria Calamity Mod. But here's the catch, I will be playing as the Healer class and she will be playing as the Bard class. The Healer class uses their sword and magic to deal damage and their main role is healing their allies. While the Bard class uses their instruments to deal damage and their main role is buffing their allies. Wait, but Calamity has no Healer or Bard class. Those two classes are from Terraria Mod. How are we able to play as them? Well, introducing unofficial Calamity Bard and Healer class mod. This mod adds tons of new Healer and Bard items that uses Calamity materials and integrates well into the progression of Calamity. And let me tell you that some of the weapons are absolutely bonkers in terms of damage and design. Both of the new Bard and Healer weapons are definitely cool in design. But you know what else is cool? The sponsor of today's video, Infinity Nikki. Infinity Nikki is a free-to-play open-world dress-up adventure game developed by Infold Games. And in their newest version 1.8 update, the game will be receiving tons of new amazing content, such as their new side-scrolling minigame, everyone's favorite hopping challenge that has been revamped into a side-scrolling platformer. Version 1.8 introduces new outfits, map areas, and event quests inspired by Chinese ink wash painting. This new update introduces Infinity Nikki's first ever Chinese-style outfits. They offer a completely new aesthetic, distinct from all previous designs, such as the 5-star resonant outfits, Foreverborn, which is a catsuit. Wearing this will give you a better experience in the boss battle, Inkshade painting Luong, and Clouded Luong. Luong is a Chinese dragon and this outfit lets you summon Luong that you can ride with your friends. Version 1.8 is adding a brand new limited time map area, Dungeon Island. And as the story unfolds, you'll be able to unlock the other version, Dungeon Realm. Dungeon Island contains super exciting gameplay such as Dungeon Trails, and a minigame in which you have to rescue your companion, Momo, where are you, who had been trapped inside a mystical scroll in the Starlit Realm. Things will get even more exciting when the home feature launches in version 1.9, as Nikki will be able to learn 2 new abilities related to gardening and crafting. Infinity Nikki's dye system supports customizing the colors of hairstyles, gowns, and more to craft your one-of-a-kind outfits. The possibilities are endless. You can even share and import your unique color schemes to other players. And for you who are already a fan of Infinity Nikki, you can visit them at Gamescom 2025 in Cologne from August 20th to 24th. Infinity Nikki is available on all platforms including PS5, PC, Steam, and mobile. This game truly offers you the ultimate cozy open-world adventure dress-up experience wherever you go. Play Infinity Nikki now using my link in the description down below. Thank you Infinity Nikki for sponsoring today's video. Without further ado, let's start this playthrough. Starting off the playthrough, my friend immediately chopped down all the trees at the spawn. Despite being fairly new to Terraria, she already made Terraria veterans proud with how she embraces her deforestation skills. I didn't even tell her about the existence of quality of life mods, and she already made a couple of insta houses. Okay, I'm convinced she's played modded Terraria before. To defend ourselves against the nasty slimes, Yume crafted her first Bard weapon, the wooden whistle, while I crashed my own body into the slime with no strategy whatsoever. Influenced by Yume crafting her first Bard weapon, I also crafted my first healer weapon, a strong wooden baton, granting me the ability to spin my wooden stick in a 360 angle, just like in real life. It takes approximately 5 business days to kill a single zombie. This wooden baton is terrible. My humble, down-to-earth philanthropist 6 foot by the way was granted luck by the gods, as I found Hermes boots in the first golden chest I opened. Running away from a slime in front of a girl is a new level of low only GitGudWO can achieve. Can you blame me? I would just evaporate instantly the moment I get close to any enemies. Our cave exploration wasn't completely in vain, as we found the blood layer that is needed to summon a boss later in the progression. Coming back to explore the cave further, now with my new freshly crafted tungsten pickaxe. 3 minutes later and I died to a piranha. I came back to the site of Yume with her newly crafted platinum buglehorn. Not learning from my lesson, I went back to the same cave, but this time with Yume's help, obtaining more life crystals and useful accessories such as a cloud in a bottle. However, the elephant in the room is that I still need a better weapon. I crafted Yume a sapphire hook and must have an emerald hook for better mobility. It seems that we need to gather more cobwebs to craft more clothes needed for the first Bard armor for Yume. Not to forget a lucky horseshoe for fall damage immunity. I consume a gravitation potion to observe the Sky Islands, only for the first chest to greet me with another golden horseshoe. I live in a constant state of pain and despair. And right when I found a second Sky Island, a harpy shot their pubic hair and obliterated me in the sky. Amazing. I placed down ropes to reach the second Sky Island, and in there it contained a Star Fury. This would usually be a lucky outcome, however I'm a pure healer, so I am forbidden to use this sword. I had to rely on Yume a lot during the snow biome exploration. Our goal in the snow underground was to farm as many snow mobs as possible as they drop icy shards, the main crafting material for my next healer site. After gathering enough icy shards, I was able to craft the Ice Shaver, while Yume had already crafted a full set of Crier armor. I am very behind in terms of progression. My chat told me I was dumb, because it turns out the unofficial Calamity Healer mod as an early game site that is crafted using wolfram materials. So I farm a few wolfram enemies and ask for some of Yume's wolfram metal scraps, giving me enough metal scraps to craft the wolfram Wind Wacker. Another game site that is able to shoot from a distance? Sign me up! This is such a game changer. Ice Shaver deals small damage but inflicts frostburn to enemies, while wolfram Wind Wacker deals even smaller damage, but I can use it to attack enemies from a safe distance. Finally, I can be useful in this playthrough. Along the way, we found a Dryden lab near the Sunken Sea. I of course had to explain to Yume about my unhealthy obsession with Dryden's lore. We've reached the deep parts in our cave exploration where scarlet chests begin to appear. The first scarlet chest we opened contained a deep stuff, a healer weapon that shoots purple dark missiles and uses our own life and mana as ammunition. It inflicts Shadow Flame debuff to enemies and can heal an ally for a tiny bit of HP. The second scarlet chest we found contained a mixtape and the Eye of Cthulhu summoning item. Mixtape is a bard accessory for Yume. I'd say this cave exploration was beneficial for the both of us. Back at our base, Yume made a simple magic storage setup. Now I am extremely convinced she's a seasoned Teemo Toader veteran. I found an enchanted cane in a chest below Living Tree. Does summoning a single minion count as breaking the rule in a monoclass playthrough? Nah, I don't think it does. Cool magical shields rotating around me is worth risking for. On that night, we feel an evil presence watching us. Knowing what's about to come, I immediately built a makeshift arena near our spawn. And since we mined plenty of platinum ores, I used them to craft a full set of platinum armor. Yes, I know there is an early game healer armor, but that armor requires Blood Moon, which has yet to happen. Just right when I was about to place a campfire, the big eye came just like a storm that is approaching. And from here, you guys can start to see the glaring issue of both players becoming a support class. To say that we were struggling at the damage department would be an understatement. Thankfully, Wolfram with Whacker infinite piercing capabilities made an easy job of the servants of Cthulhu. I had to finish building the arena mid-fight against the Eye of Cthulhu, because mobility is extremely important, especially when you know your damage is cooked. Switching between my deep stuff and Wolfram with Whacker was a solid strategy for me to do during phase 1. But the moment the Eye of Cthulhu enters the second phase is where things get very tricky. At the point, Yume died and my HP was in a critically low state. I had to activate Ultra Instinct and survive for the next 30 seconds. To be fair, support classes were never meant to deal damage, but this was honestly quite awful. Deep stuff was low-key the goat during this fight, because Wolfram with Whacker's low horrendous attack speed made it near impossible to hit the agile phase 2 Eye of Cthulhu. If not for the Shadow Flame debuff from the deep stuff, I am very sure this fight would have taken much longer. Thank God we decided to go deep in the underground caves earlier. It took us a while, but thankfully despite our unprepared early game gear, we were still able to overcome the Eye of Cthulhu. Defeating the Eye provides us access to Shield of Cthulhu and Crimson bars. I had to help Yume chop down a few Shadewood trees which Yume can use to craft Shadewood Tambourine. Then I can use the Crimson bars to craft the Crimson Sword. Okay, back-to-back horrible reforge on my Crimson Sword is some wild work. Bye-bye Wolfram with Whacker, hello Crimson Sword. The next step we have to do is to go to the underground Crimson and fight the brain of Cthulhu. Listen, it might seem weird to skip Desert Scourge or King Slime and go straight to fighting the evil boss with minimal gear, but just trust me, I saw this cheese in a YouTube video, let me cook. Okay, this is not what I had in mind. The brain Gunners weren't supposed to be able to shoot projectiles. Basically, if it was just a normal vanilla thorium, I could just spin the sight around myself and constantly knock away the brain Gunners, letting me be practically... But I forgot that we are on that mode, not vanilla, which means Brain of Cthulhu gets access to new attacks that can't just be knocked away with Healer Sight. Don't tell me I didn't do a good job here, I dodged very well. But there was really nothing we could do with a makeshift arena as small as this. The moment Yume died, I already accepted my fate. Wallahi, I am cooked. Let's just stick with the basics and go with Desert Scourge as our next boss. In order to do that, we need to go to the desert and farm some materials, such as Endline Mandibles, Stormline Mandibles, and Sand Blocks. I then went to the Crimson Biome once again to visit the Demon Altar and convert 3 desert materials into Desert Medallion. I also crafted a Slime Crown and an Overloaded Sludge while at it. Then I built a medium-sized arena in the Desert Biome and used the Desert Medallion to summon none other than the Desert Scourge. Take a shot every time I say the word desert. Yume wasn't too familiar with Desert Scourge, so she immediately got mauled 10 seconds into the fight. Unlike her, I am quite familiar with this thirsty worm. Is what I would say if the range of my goddamn sword isn't smaller than the size of the average Chinese man Schlongger Donger. I literally have to get hit to be able to deal even the slightest of damage to the Scourge. Thank God I got an immediate spark earlier. Every time I take damage, I release damaging sparks. This accessory boosted my DPS, but even then, taking damage non-stop was not a viable strategy for us to win the fight. Alright, Desert Scourge was harder than we expected, but what about King Slime? Things were looking smooth at the beginning of the battle, but things start to take a turn the moment King Slime gets below half health, as he summons a Ruby Jewel that shoots down projectiles from above. Let's just say we both got a bit too confident and fumbled near the end. It's always that damn Ruby Jewel. Okay, that confirms it, we gotta lock in. No more messing around. We are not going to end the day off with a defeat. What, you think we are cowards? Without even thinking twice, we swiftly summon King Slime again with no change towards our gear whatsoever. We lost, again. Let's be real here, our gear was honestly fine. It's just, it's my first time playing with a female, okay? Crazy how I just folded under zero pressure. The third time we summoned King Slime, I just knew this is the attempt. I am slowly getting used to playing with a female, I understand it now. As soon as Yume struggled failed and died, I knew it was all up to me. The fate of our lives lies in my hands, and I'm not going to embarrass ourselves no more. I should have just relied more on my deep stuff, because damn, Crimson Sight is super risky to use. Defeating King Slime was low-key pointless, but we did get a Crown Jewel accessory, which gives us an extra 4 defense, so that's nice. Insert your generic mining session here. We were focusing on getting more life results to increase our max HP. We mined so deep, we even reached the underworld. Might as well grab a Hell Forge. I did not know why I tried to mine the Hellstone here. On the next day, I crafted the proper healing stuff called the Heart 1. I almost forgot the entire purpose of Healer Class is to heal allies, not deal damage. This time, I gathered and shared buff potions for the both of us, such as Iron Skin and Swiftness potions. Though I don't think I'm going to use the Heart 1 often, the charging rate is awfully sluggish. Anyways, it is time for our second round against the Desert Scourge. Learning from my previous mistake, instead of charging head-on and taking all the chomps from Desert Scourge, I used the dash from my Shield of Cthulhu to charge and negate the contact damage. With an item called the Escape Rocket, I was able to reenact the Joestar secret technique, escaping all damage and confrontations from the Desert Nuisance. Yume's guitar or whatever she's holding there help a lot with Scourge, since it can infinitely pierce through the segments. It seems like she's getting the hang out of being a bar class with how she was able to proficiently switch between instruments to give team buffs. Same couldn't be said for me, because I haven't even healed Yume for a single bit despite being a healer class. You know, your man has to go to our farm at the end, bashing my side directly onto Desert Scourge mouth. Man, my embarrassment knows no limits. I did not expect Desert Scourge loot to be amazing, but wow, was I surprised, because from the back I was able to get a dry mouth. Pardon the rather interesting name of this weapon. It has a healer side that is able to shoot 3 waves of sand projectiles. This was a massive improvement compared to my Crimson Sight. Not leaving the desert biome just yet, we ventured into the underground to find some loots. And my premonition was correct, as I spotted a desert shrine not long after I dug down. The chest inside the shrine contains the Luxor's Gift, an accessory that shoots extra projectiles depending on your weapon's class. Unfortunately, it seems that neither Bard nor healer benefits from Luxor's Gift. We dug deeper and found a few life results along the way. The main reason why I kept digging down was because I needed to visit the Sunken Sea located deep beneath the desert biome. We need sea prisms mined from the grounds of the Sunken Sea to craft our next healer and Bard weapons. The Ocean Crest accessory dropped by the Desert Scourge earlier helped a lot during our Sunken Sea exploration, preventing us from drowning by recovering our water bubbles whenever we stand still. After gathering a lot of prism shards and sea prisms, we decided to confront the elephant in the room, the giant clam that had been creepily staring at us for the past 10 minutes. I didn't need to build an arena nor prepare myself, because I believe we are more than strong enough to handle the giant clam. Besides, it is not Inferno Mode's giant clam, so this little creature is only considered a mini-boss. And I was correct, that mode giant clam was a walk in the park. Only took a couple of swings using my dry mouth sight to defeat the clam. By defeating the clam, we got a Bard weapon for Yume and we also freed the Sea King NPC. However, he doesn't sell any Bard nor healer materials, so this NPC is useless for us, at least for now. I crafted Yume the Crystal Hydrolophone using the Sunken Sea materials, with possibly one of the worst reforges for a Bard weapon. And I crafted the proper healer stuff for myself called the Lost Oasis. This healer stuff summons an expanding Oasis Mist that heals allies for 11 health. It's a bit buggy, but it does look sick. I believe either Thorium or Calamity added a recipe to craft life crystals using rubies and healing potions. So I crafted plenty, maxed out my HP, and shared the rest with Yume. Now it is time for us to exact our revenge against the brain amalgamation. With my new dry mouth sight and Yume's new arsenal of Bard instruments, surely now we are able to win against the brain, right? Never mind. Damn, we are terrible at this. We ran out of Crimson Hearts to break, so I had to craft the manual summoning item for a Brain of Cthulhu. I also crafted a summoning item for Crabulon while at it. It is now our third attempt against the Brain of Cthulhu. You know what they say, third time's the charm. Dry mouth sight coverage was amazing at dealing with the mini brain gooners, and the knockback value is just the perfect amount for dealing with them. However, the main issue starts to become apparent once we took down all of the brain gooners, transforming Brain of Cthulhu into its second phase. Using my technique of spam using the dash from Shield of Cthulhu, I was able to consistently gain iframes and knock myself away from the brain whenever it gets too close to me. It doesn't always work every time, and I still took plenty of damage, but it definitely helped a ton during Brain of Cthulhu illusion phase. The situation was getting extremely tough. The brain was reaching critical levels of HP, but so was I. I couldn't afford to die and respawn either since Yume just recently died. This is now a battle of endurance. I had to spam my dash key as I know a single hit from brain will result in a game over for the both of us. I could not let my guard down even for a split second here. This was an intense moment. Luckily, my healing potion sickness debuff ran out just right in time. I spammed my quick heal button and restored my HP, giving me just enough health to tank through and win the fight against the Brain of Cthulhu. What the hell was that? That fight was unnecessarily way more intense than it should have been. Brain of Cthulhu loots were pretty good. Brain of Confusion accessory will be our best friend since neither of us can dodge attacks very well. There are plenty of Bard stuff enough to craft using Crimson bars and tissue samples, such as the Jester armor. But the same couldn't be said for the Healer class. However, we still could craft the Deathbringer pickaxe though, which means now we can mine Hellstone. I know this isn't a Healer armor, but I crafted a Crimson armor as a temporary substitute. Let me tell you, I could have crafted Cleric, Ebon, or Iridescent armor if we could just get a single damn Blood Moon to spawn. It's not my fault, it's a goddamn game. Anyways, I placed a few more insta houses down, and while doing so, a goblin army decided to approach from the east. I know I've said this 2 times already, but genuinely, how crazy is this? We got a goblin army before a blood moon. It should not be a surprise that we cleared the goblin invasion with much ease, considering the invasion occurred somewhat late into pre-hard mode. Yume got a dark gate item from one of the goblin mages. She gave it to me because apparently it's a healer item that as players make gateway portals to teleport short distances. This item is way too situational to be useful, but it's fun to use. Next we went to the underground in search of a glowing mushroom biome. Lucky for us, we found a big spacious glowing mushroom biome not too deep below our spawn. I've seen 3-year-olds place Lego bricks better than how I built the arena here. After building the arena, we used the Decapoditas Sprout to summon and fight Crabulon. This mother of all mushrooms was surprisingly extremely fun to fight as the Bard and Healer class. Unlike the past few boss fights, Crabulon felt fair to fight. Not too tanky, but also still dangerous. The best part about Crabulon is I could get close to her without getting obliterated immediately, allowing me to deal consistent DPS with my dry mouth. Okay, pause, hold on, that feels so weird to say. Why did the devs decide to name this site Dry Mouth? Terrible name. They could have gone with a Dry Throat or the Thirsty Lips. You know what? Actually, never mind. I am terrible at naming things too. Both me and Yume felt so much fun fighting Crabulon, because we actually felt like we are dealing damage, finally becoming useful classes in this playthrough. Neither of us died, and Crabulon was defeated without any struggle and with much satisfaction. Crabulon's loots were pretty mediocre, but the Mushroom Plasma Root is a nice upgrade to our Rage meter. I almost forgot that we also have Thorium mod enabled. Yume had to remind me constantly to fight Thorium bosses. As it turns out, a lot of Bard weapons are locked behind Thorium bosses. What a surprise! We crafted the Grand Flare Gun along with the ammo, and went to the location in the desert where we fought Desert Scourge earlier to summon and fight the Grand Thunderbird. To say that we are overgeared would be an understatement, because look at how much DPS we are dealing. We honestly should have fought this bird before any other bosses if we knew it was gonna be this easy. The Grand Thunderbird dropped the Zephyr's Grip. It is basically a grappling hook that summons a bird that you can grapple onto. It's very fun to use. We then went to the jungle and gathered some jungle loots. Most notably, I found the Digester, a healer gun that is a reference to the pea shooter from Plants vs Zombies. Although I couldn't use the pea shooter often, since it consumes plenty of mana. While exploring the jungle, we found a naturally spawning Corpse Bloom mini-boss. Naturally, our Ooga Booga monkey instincts decided to fight it head-on, directly tanking and eating all of the hits. Yume even died for this act. That was close. Corpse Bloom drops a healer summon stuff called a Bloom Guard that summons a plant-like sentry that periodically provides defense and healing spores. We ventured down into jungle further, found a temple, lots of mediocre loots, and along the way we found a Granite shrine. Inside the chest contains the unstable Granite core. This accessory was extremely important in my no weapons Calamity run, but it's not going to be useful for a normal playthrough such as this. We were trying to get the Granite Energy Storm to spawn, but turns out the boss is locked behind Skeletron. It took me a while to realize that. The trip wasn't completely in vain, as right above the Granite shrine we found a Marble shrine. Back-to-back shrine on a random seat should mathematically be impossible. My luck truly works wonders. The marble chest contains a Gladiator's Locket. It's an accessory that makes enemies drop healing orbs on kill, and gives you more damage and movement speed the lower your HP. I didn't need these shrine loots in this playthrough, man. Why can't my luck cooperate with me when I actually need it? Not leaving the jungle empty-handed, Yume spotted a nearby hive, and we figured out we should be strong enough to fight Queen Bee. When I was mining to the hive to create an entrance, I swung my dry mouth to kill the bees. What I did not anticipate is that by doing so, I hit the Queen Bee's larva completely by accident, waking up the queen from her slumber. We had to fight Queen Bee completely unprepared and without an arena. I told Yume to distract Queen Bee, and while she was distracted, I crafted plenty of wooden platforms and placed them down inside the hive to create a makeshift arena. There we go, much better. Even though the arena is small, at least it provides just enough space for us to be less likely to be cornered from Queen Bee's attacks. I might have used a teleport to Nurse NPC exploit once or twice during this battle. In my defense, I wouldn't have used a Nurse NPC if I was prepared, okay? I literally tried to heal Yume a couple of times in this battle using my extremely buggy Lost Oasis. It just happens that my healing absolutely sucks and drains all my mana. You could argue that I should have consumed a couple of mana stars earlier, but I would argue that the best defense is offense. And what does healing classify as? That's right, defense. What was my point here? Anyways, Queen Bee's fight was extremely repetitive and annoying because Queen Bee kept dashing onto the blind spots. The small, claustrophobic arena did not help to make the fight any much more fun either. It took us 7 minutes, a couple of deaths by Yume, and a few nurse NPC exploits by me. But we were still able to successfully defeat the Queen Bee. There are 1 healer staff and 2 bard instruments craftable using bee wax dropped by the Queen. I teleported back to Yume that was still in the jungle to gather some honey blocks, and I crafted myself the honeysuckle. It's a healer staff that shoots a stream of honey that heals up to 2 alloys. And yes, it looks like I'm shooting piss. For those of you keeping track, a second goblin invasion happened naturally. But we have yet to witness even a single blood moon out of at least 12 nights. Yes, I was keeping count, and no, I am not crazy. I crafted an insavator as we needed a fast way to get to the underworld comfortably. Once I've reached the underworld, I drank an obsidian skin potion and began my journey of mining simulator, Hellstone Edition. I wasn't just mining Hellstone for myself, I was also mining it for Yume, as her next bard armor and instruments require Hellstone to craft. So I had to gather a ton. The mining simulator yielded 1,130 Hellstones. I did not forget to mine plenty of obsidians, as they are also needed to craft Hellstone bars. Using the Hellstone bars, first I start by crafting both of us the molten pickaxe. Then I crafted myself the molten treasure, a Hellstone variant of the healer sword, and I also crafted a proper healer staff called the prophecy. Then I gave the rest of the Hellstone bars to Yume for her to craft a full set of the noble armor. Keep in mind, Yume had already crafted a total of 3 different bard armor sets, while I have crafted a total of 0 healer armor. Sometimes I wonder why Thorium devs decide it's a good idea to lock healer progression behind an RNG based event that you can't control when it will happen. Here I was curious, will Dungeon Guardian get overridden if I summon Eye of Cthulhu before entering the dungeon? I saw a clip of it somewhere on YouTube where someone was able to enter a dungeon using this method. But I'm pretty sure I did it wrong, because Dungeon Guardian still spawned. Curiosity definitely killed the cat, and a few other NPCs too in the process. Since we got Hellstone gear, me and Yume decided, why don't we give Skeletron a shot? Normally, vanilla Skeletron wouldn't stand a chance against Hellstone tier gear. But what we did not expect is that Skeletron had just snorted 50 grams of pure Colombian. At first, the fight seems fine and doable. We were able to easily take down both of Skeletron's arms. But the moment Skeleton entered phase 2, it starts to gain new attacks while also moving and spinning really fast. This was definitely not normal. Maybe a multiplayer bug, or maybe we were just bad. But one thing's for sure, I definitely need a better healer dedicated armor to even try to withstand the presence of the Colombian King Skeletron. So the smartest and wisest decision to do here is to make an arena on the Crimson surface and eliminate the Perforator cyst to summon and fight the Perforator's hive. Because you see, the aftermath of defeating the Perforators will grant us the ability to mine Aerialite ores that generate in the Sky Islands. And I need Aerialite to craft my first ever proper healer armor, and the next upgrade to my healer sword. Yume's gears were still fine. It's me, I was the problem here. While yes, my molten treasure does an amazing job at shredding the Perforator swarm, the range problem starts to become more noticeable here. Most thorium healer swords have limited range, and it is extremely hard to reach bosses that tend to fly away or stay away from the player. Though we were able to bring Perforators low, ultimately our DPS simply wasn't good enough and we lost against Perforators. I strongly believe we can win though. Maybe what we needed was just a few buff potions. I bought some and shared them with Yume. And to solve the range issue, what if I try switching back to my Dry Mouth sword, since it has better range? Honestly, though Dry Mouth has lower DPS compared to Molten Treasure, it is way more practical in this scenario as now my attacks were able to reach Perforators more easily. Higher DPS means nothing when you can barely even reach to scratch the foreskin of your enemies. Yume was able to easily shred the Perforator worms too with her hot horn. It's a bar trumpet made out of hellstone that pierces infinitely, so there was no use for me to switch back to my Molten Treasure here. With a strategy as flawless as this, we were able to achieve victory against the Perforators. Upon opening the treasure bag, it contained a new bard weapon for Yume. It's a violin called Violins. Nice one, I see what they did there. I then bought and drank a gravitation potion since it is now time to mine Aerialite ores located in the Sky Islands. And finally, using the Aerialite, I was able to craft my first ever proper healer armor, the Aerospec armor. For context, the unofficial Calamity Bard and Healer mod added a healer and bard version of most Calamity armor. Using the same Aerialite, I also crafted the Windmill. It's a healer sight that leaves behind a whirlwind on every swing. This sight is indeed extremely cool, but what I did not realize yet is that it is way more powerful than what it seems. We also used the Aerialite to craft our first wings, the Skyline wings. Embracing the healer path, I also crafted some proper healer-oriented accessories. such as Life Quartz Shield and Fragrant Corsage. We then went underground to look for the Bone Goblin Tinkerer. Quick tip, drinking a Hunter Potion will cause a Bone Goblin to light up. With access to the Tinkerer Workshop bought from the Goblin Tinkerer, we can now craft Frostspark Boots. Not to forget, I also increased my max mana, since most proper healer stuff uses mana. And now it is time we exact our revenge against Skeletron. One thing you'll immediately notice is that what is that damage? The DPS output of my windmill site is absurdly high. It was straight up melting through Skeletron. Both of his arms were taken down in less than 7.5 seconds. However, what surprises us even more is that Skeletron did not take that lightly. For some reason, he grew both of his arms back and started teleporting and tweaking like crazy. Skeletron was for sure 3 steps ahead of me. He flash stepped and oh my wa, motion deru, my ass here. It was 6 AM, I haven't slept, and I can't think of anything better to describe it here. Luckily, I could rely on Yume's dodging skills and she lasted long enough that I could respawn and teleport to her. Viewers on my stream were complaining that I am not healing enough, so this time, instead of swinging my scythe, I switched to my prophecy to try and heal Yume who was low on HP. At the time, we were thinking, that's it, we win here. But guess what? On his last remaining sliver of HP, Skeletron despawned. Both of us are equally as confused as you are here. Okay, maybe that one time was bugged. Maybe it happened because I died once earlier during the fight. The second time should be fine, right? Nope, Skeletron still despawned at low HP. Being a stubborn person that I am, third time must be the charm. I mean, I literally have an absurdly strong weapon right now, so I must be able to completely melt Skeletron before he starts tweaking, right? With the right technique, which was by baiting Skeletron to pass by my whirlwinds, I was fast enough to bring Skeletron's HP from 100 to 0 before he started teleporting. Nice! Here, I thought Skeletron did not drop his treasure back, but you may found out his treasure back was dropped on a location where we didn't even go when fighting him. What? I'm a bit confused here. And yep, no good loots from the back. I wish Relogic made Skeletron drops a bit more special. With Skeletron defeated, we can now enter the dungeon. I found and freed the Bone Mechanic NPC. She sells the microphone, a bard weapon. I bought it for Yume. See, I'm a proper healer. I am literally healing Yume right now. Yume found the Bone Reaper in one of the dungeon chests and she gave it to me. It is one of the sites needed to craft the Night's Edge of Healer site. While I was farming for bones and dark cell ingots, a peculiar mirror appeared beside us. Well, the only logical course of action to do here is to interact with it. And by interacting with the mirror, we summoned the Illusionist. The Illusionist is a Thorium mini-boss and wasn't much of a threat, honestly. Once you bring down its HP to 0, it will summon 2 illusion decoys and regain its full HP. Thank God, we were able to craft dark cell ingots using spikes and bones. And using dark cell ingots, I was able to craft the Templar Armor. Along with Templar's Grace, a healer staff, the Templar Armor is arguably the best pre-Hardmode healer armor, as the set bonus gives increased healing if an ally is below half HP. I checked on the Traveling Merchant, and oh hey, he sells the Lifeform Analyzer and a Chill Lantern, another healer staff added to my arsenal. Then, since it was nighttime, might as well craft a Bloody Tear to summon the Blood Moon. Because apparently, even after almost finishing pre-Hardmode, a natural Blood Moon has yet to happen during this playthrough. Let me actually explain why Blood Moon is important for healer. Enemies that spawn during Blood Moon drop blood and unholy shards. Both of these materials are crucial in crafting plenty of healer gear. For example, I was able to craft the Omen, an offensive focused magic staff for healers. Just this stuff alone would have been amazing if we had it earlier. Remember the lair we found earlier during our cave exploration? Yeah, we can offer unholy shards in the center altar to summon a boss called Viscount. Viscount flies above the player, launching ricocheting echo pulses, multiple splashes of blood, and uses his fat belly to slam the ground, stunning players. I used my Chill Lantern I bought from the Traveling Merchant earlier to heal Yume, then switched to my windmill to attack Viscount. We were supposed to fight this bat way earlier, but we just couldn't get Blood Moon to appear. Viscount loots were not up to our standards anymore since it is an early pre-Hardmode boss. But I did get this Vampire Catalyst item that could transform me into a mini bat. We revisited the Granite biome we found earlier in the jungle, and we waited for an unstable energy anomaly to appear naturally. By destroying the unstable energy anomaly, the Granite Energy Storm boss will be summoned. Why is this guy the only Granite-themed boss I've ever seen in modern Terraria? Please add more guys, I love the Granite biome. And of course, my windmill was able to easily shred the Granite Energy Storm. It drops an accessory for the Bard class called the Shock Absorber, which I gave to Yume. The next destination we must visit is the Marble biome, which is conveniently located directly above the Granite biome. I find it funny that Yumeriri thought she could mine the Bizarre Rock Formation. Why does this ore have a health bar? But yes, by destroying the Bizarre Rock Formation, it will summon the Buried Champion. Here, I really try to embrace my role more as a healer, healing Yume as I was supposed to do. But man, I always succumb to the temptation of swinging my scythe directly at my enemy's nutsack. The Buried Champion has a wide variety of attacks, but we couldn't really get to see them in connection, as I was melting them like hot knife through butter. The booty champion drops the champion's wings, but after I did a bit of testing, our aerialite wings are slightly better compared to it. I bought the materials needed to craft lava waders from the Tinkerer NPC, and combined it with my Frostspark boots to craft Terraspark boots. Oh hey, the Spiritualist NPC moved in. He is an NPC that sells healer stuff. The only tempting item I want to buy from him is the Redeemer stuff. Apparently it can revive allies, which does sound tempting, though it cost a fortune to buy. I had to find 4 scraps and sell them to buy it. This stuff better be worth it. And now we shall fight the last boss in pre-hard mode before Wall of Flesh. It is none other than the Slime God. A lot of people in the community have problems regarding on how tanky Slime God can be during their playthroughs. And yet, the windmill is still absolutely crushing it. I promise to try my best to avoid using windmill whenever unnecessary, because it's turning everything easy, and what's the fun in that? I did try to heal Yume during this battle, but my healing isn't anywhere as comparable to my damage. Screw it, forget about healing. Let's just switch to my windmill site and obliterate the living crap out of the Slime God. Activating Adrenaline mode near the end of the fight for that absolute cinema effect. Goddamn, shredding things can be fun sometimes. The Slime God drops tons of good stuff, such as Gelatin Therapy, a healer stuff that shoots bouncing gels that heals players. It also drops Electrolyte Gel Pack, which upgrades our Adrenaline meter. And most importantly, it drops Purified Gels, which we can use to craft new gear. I crafted the Duality Sight. It emits red and purple energy on each blade. Hitting enemies with purple inflicts Shadow Flame on them, and hitting them with red massively boosts our health regen. Turns out there is a healer version of the Sati Gel armor, so you know we gotta craft it. Although I must say the set bonus is definitely versatile, but not too healer oriented. Then I crafted an Ninja Bridge and placed it down in the underwater to serve as an arena. I dropped a guide voodoo doll into the lava, as it is now time we summon and fight the Wall of Flesh. And yes, as I promised and said earlier, I shall use my new Duality Sight against the Wall of Flesh, and not touch my windmill set at all during this fight. The Duality Sight felt way more balanced and is significantly weaker when compared to the windmill sight, which means there was definitely something wrong with the windmill. I tried my best to heal Yume when she was low, but she could not make it, so I whipped out my Redeemer stuff to try and revive her. But nope, I got scammed by that damn Spiritualist NPC. This thing does not work at all. I just found out that apparently we can throw the Duality Sight using right click. Well, this changes everything. The Gelatin Therapy excels at healing allies in tight and enclosed spaces, as the healing blobs bounce off blocks. There is one glaring issue that has started to become more prevalent as the fight goes on. Our damage was very low. I am self-aware I am just one click away from shredding Wall of Flesh, but I already promised, and I'm a man of my word. For those of you who say I'm terrible at being a healer, how am I the bad healer here? She keeps dodging my balls. Either she instinctively thought those balls could harm her, or she's just rage baiting me. Probably the first option though. I keep thinking everything slightly frustrating is a rage bait. Oh hey, that's a Murasama Dragon Lab. Wait, oh no, it means that we are close to the edge of the world. We shouldn't have summoned Wall of Flesh in the middle point of the underworld, because the sad news is we are unable to deal enough damage, which resulted in Wall of Flesh cornering us at the edge of the world, ultimately losing this battle. You know what? Enough of the healing shenanigans. I'm gonna start using my sight more. I reforged my Duality Sight to its best modifier, Mythical, along with reforging every of my accessories to Menacing. Learning from our mistake last time, we ventured to the most left side of the world, reaching the Brimstone Crag biome. Then here we can summon the Wall of Flesh. This should give us plenty more time and space to take the wall down. Being able to throw the Duality Sight is definitely a game changer, as the radius is extremely good at taking down the Hungries. I must say, things do look better this time. My DPS was higher, and I found out I can play safer by throwing my sight. And Yume was using the best pre-hard mode bard weapon called the Song of Ice and Fire. Don't worry, I do still heal Yume whenever she is low on health. I am still doing my job as a healer here. And besides, bard does deal good damage. It was just overshadowed by how broken my windmill was earlier. Not to mention, the buffs bard class provide might seem minor, but it can be a night and day difference in the long term. With an optimized strategy such as this, the power of teamwork prevails, as we both succeeded in defeating the Wall of Flesh. By defeating the wall, we've officially entered the hard mode. Well, that's all of the hard mode for Calamity, Healer, and Bard journey. Get this video to 5,000 likes and I'll upload the hard mode part ASAP. Thanks for watching and see ya!